All right, my man, you got situated
Yeah. So,
at the streets.
trying. My goal was to present a special edition to our audience with being in the Model Y, the car that I love driving so much. But in this case, my son was doing the driving, so it was
Got
little different experience. But I wanted to at least see if I can give that viewpoint. But you know what? We definitely got to give the viewers that one time we're both in our cars, talk to
right.
Tesla.
Yeah, we gotta figure that one out, man. So if anybody out there can figure that one out for us, uh, yeah, hit us in the comments.
Right.
And of course, as always, we appreciate you. Hit that like and subscribe, man. It's once again, it's another Sunday. Adrian Little, Sadat, DeBoe, two Tesla owners, Model Ys, just getting together to talk about this whole ecosystem, right? So, uh, you know, accessories, things of that nature. That's not really what we kind of hit on. It's how does this fit into the future,
Right.
right? And
Right.
what's the play? What's the play?
What's the play? Yeah.
What's the play? But one thing before we move on, I wanted to also obviously reiterate that this is for entertainment. Obviously, we get as much facts as we know at the time from the research that we do. Um, hey, we both have full-time jobs, right? So this is something that we're doing as an extracurricular hobby, fun activity, right? To educate the masses. One thing I did want to go back and insight in one of the initial episodes, in our first episode, I incorrectly named the price for the EV9.
Mm.
Uh, it's actually the EV6 that's along with the Model Y,
Okay.
and its price range is along with the Model Y, right? 40 some odd thousand. You guys can look it up,
Right.
ladies and gents can look it up, but it's the EV6. So I saw the EV9 the other day. I didn't get in it, right, but hopefully we can get the owner on
Okay.
here and talk about it.
Okay.
Talk about
Okay.
the
Or
Kia.
someone in your neighborhood.
Yeah, well, not in the
Okay.
neighborhood. We did my company did a back to school supplies giveaway
Got it.
to a local school, and it's kind of funny when I pulled up. Um, the well, actually, no. When we were leaving, the owner came out and said, "Hey," well, the principal of the school said, "Hey, electric vehicle," and I
Okay.
said, "Yeah," and
Yeah.
I said, "Is that your EV9 in the front?" She was like, "Oh, heck yeah!" And so she went on. She was like, "Hey, I won't steal a thunder, but I will say one thing: she doesn't miss the gas station.
Hmm.
Doesn't miss the gas station. Doesn't miss the gas station. So hopefully I can move her to give her commentary on the show.
Yeah. So I have to say it because I'm thinking it. Without Elon, there's no EV9.
Mm.
Without Tesla, there's no EV9.
That's a bold statement there, buddy.
I just have to. I just had to throw it out there. Right?
Uh,
It's every all these other car makers. Great, good
yeah.
job getting on board. Good job. Without Elon, there is no other EV manufacturers.
So are we still sitting at Prius with the EV9 with if there's no Elon, no Elon?
I think so. I think so. And furthermore, the Japanese car manufacturers, they're heavily pushing hybrids. Heavily. They're not even really diving in deep on being EV manufacturers the way that the American car manufacturers are, starting with Tesla, of course. Starting with Tesla,
Right.
of course, right? Kia, I would, arguably is making a heavy push. I can tell you in my area, I see lot of EV6s, a lot.
Mhm.
Not as many.
Wow.
Not of course, I see way more Teslas.
Right.
But yeah, I mean, to your point, I doubt that. I doubt that we would be where we're at in terms of the push for EVs without Tesla.
Mm. Mm. Yeah, and probably in the amount of models that are out there
Right,
now, because there is a variety. I mean, you got the EV6, you got an EV9, which is larger,
right.
right? Big, it's a bigger SUV.
And it looks nice too. I have to say, it's a nice looking vehicle.
It's nice. Yeah.
It's a nice looking vehicle. I'll be
Yeah.
honest with you. Yeah, no doubt
Yeah.
about the design.
Not taking anything away from it, right? So,
Right, right.
um, but yeah, you know what? You probably hit on something with that. Yeah. Could some of the Tesla folks are going to Kia, right?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Well, I have to be honest about this. I mean, it is time for Tesla to start. It is time for Tesla to get going with the new design. It is time. It's
Mm.
time. I mean, when I'm driving down the street and I mean, I have my Y. I see a Y next to me. I see a Y in front of me. I see a Y behind me. I mean, yeah, okay, great. Today, we're out. I'm out with the wife and kids. We see a
Right.
pink Tesla. All right, fine, right? All right. So you got the Tesla with the spoiler. You got the Tesla. You got the Cybertruck that said that a friend of mine. He has a Cybertruck. Sends me over the Cybertruck, and it's like almost like Tron. Remember the movie Tron? He has
Yeah,
like
yeah, yeah. I
it's
remember that.
completely blacked out, and it has the all the edges of the vehicle are lit up with like neon,
LED.
like LED.
Neon.
Thank you. Right.
Yeah.
I mean, it's
Yeah.
okay. You can go out and you can remember what was it? There was that show back MTV, Pit My Ride. I think
Oh,
that was
Pin
the
My
name of
Ride.
it.
Yeah, yeah.
Right.
The
Pit My
Woody.
Ride.
I
Right.
think that was Exhibit, right?
Pit My Tesla. Right. I mean,
Yeah.
so are they out there? Fine. But the reality is, I think it's time for Tesla to if I'm going to be critical, it's time for Elon Tesla to the tweaks on the Model 3 were nice. They were nice, but not enough for you to say, hey, you know what? This body style has really changed.
Right. Right. Yeah, you
Meaningfully
got a
enough.
point. You got a point. It's been that way for a while, and yeah, but we talked about it before. His focus is getting those units out, right, and focusing on. He's been spending that money on the tech,
Yeah,
right? So
true.
resources has been
Yeah,
different. It's been
yeah,
differently.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
And you know what? I can agree with that. I can agree with that. I mean, if you're really focused, if the and again, you said it, you were the first to say it. You're not driving a car.
Right.
You're not driving a car.
Right.
Okay, I'm going to go with that. I do fundamentally believe in that point. It would be nice. It would be nice to have. It would be a nice
Right.
to have a
Right.
different body type. So, but if you're really focused on the North Star is focused on the tech, EVs. There's nothing else to say. There's no company, and I'm looking forward to us having another guest on that have non-Tesla EVs to hear more about their experience with the tech.
Right. And it's almost like they've included almost every piece of hardware you need already in the car.
Mm,
Now it's a matter of just updating the tech to get the features to do the FSD, the full self driving, right? That's for
right.
you, Mom. Mom, you asked me about what FSD was, and full self driving. All right. All right. So, but yeah, and with that, if you can just keep giving you and fine tuning the FSD and fine tuning everything else, that change in the body style, it just goes down on the list of priorities
Right,
for me,
right,
right?
right. It
because
does.
because it because it goes back. It's not a car. It's not a. It's
It's
not a.
it's not. It's not.
Yeah.
I
It's
mean,
not a car.
when you can, it's almost comical, right? Like literally, you and I. At least I know you have the car that has the highest level of speed. You have the
Right.
performance, and I have the
Right.
long range.
Yep.
Technically, I could walk out to my car right now and just purchase more speed. Like right now,
Wait a minute, brother. Say that again.
I could just go out to my car and just slide that button. It's a little button you just slide, and you say approved or pay or whatever it is, and I can increase the speed of my car probably about I don't know, go from I'm thinking it's probably going from like 4.5, do 60 in 4.5 seconds to probably like do 60 in 4 seconds, something like that,
Yes,
right?
I think it's under three. I think what you're talking about is the acceleration boost, right?
Right.
Now, look, man. Now, see, right? Right? That's wild. I'm just about some more speed.
I'm just gonna bust.
By speed, can you please just unlock this on my software? Right?
I can do it now.
Yeah.
I don't have to go buy another car. I have to go shopping. I have to say, oh, you know what? I'm tired. You know what? I'm bored of this car. I want some more speed. Let me
Mm.
go. Let me spend my time. Let me get on the internet. Let me go through all the catalog of different vehicles. Oh well, you know what? I'm going to get the performance vehicle. All right. So now I got to back to your favorite word, why? Right? I'm going to
Right.
go to the
Right.
dealership. I'm going to look at different colors. Blah blah blah. Waste my time. Waste my time. Waste my time. Waste my time.
Mm.
Adrian, I'll be right back. Let me go purchase the speed. I'll be right back. It take me 5 seconds. 5 seconds. 5 seconds, and I'm done. Right? And
Wow.
it is. I Yeah, that's the tech. That's the tech.
That's the tech, man. And that's yeah, yeah. That's wild.
And,
That's
and,
wild.
and I gotta say, for the folks that are watching us, and you don't have a Tesla, just think about that. Let that sort of metastasize in your brain. Let
Mm.
that sit. Think about that for a little bit, and think about all the effort you spend, all this additional time you spend, and if you want another car, you could do so many different things with the technology to get another, if you will, variant of the experience.
Right. Oh.
Amazing.
Yeah. No. Yo, man. And yeah, he was definitely him, and yeah, definitely forward thinking on that, right? Just what mattered, right? It's the gift that keeps giving.
Right.
It's the gift that you don't know. Yeah, the gift that keeps giving, right?
Yep. 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 Yeah.
Yeah. So I wanted to kind of change topics here, and
Yep.
you brought up something about tariff. We talked about a little bit about tariffs the
Oh
other
yeah.
the other
Yeah.
week, right?
Right.
So um, you sent me an article from Reuters,
Yeah.
kind of talking about the tariffs on the EVs and tariffs, just the tariff on the Chinese products, right? So,
Right.
and a continuation from the Trump administration, the Biden administration was going to continue. But what's your thoughts? What's your thoughts on that?
Yeah. I mean, there's a few things. So one, I'm happy the tariffs are in place. Right. We do need to. I guess it's two aspects of that. One, on one hand, we need a certain level of quality before those sorts of vehicles can come into the United States. It is very well known and documented that when it comes to technology that's coming or manufactured equipment coming from China, it is not of the same level of quality as we have in the United States. You
Mm.
know, and that's something that's very important. So first and foremost, right? Will we have the same level of safety that you have? Come and frankly, maybe you have. I've never driven a Chinese made car. Never. Right? We have, Japanese cars here in the United States. We have Korean made cars in the United States. And arguably, those are all manufactured here in some facility or plant here in the U.S.
Right.
That being said, I have no interest in having that level of quality in the U.S. So that's point one. Point number two is when I think about, you know, the technology piece and what we would, how that would undercut because now what would happen is that once that technology comes into this market, let's just say that it's subpar, then everyone's going to say, you know what, I'm going to buy the subpar vehicle and maybe it's a lower price, and because you're going to have dollars that would have gone towards Tesla, and I'm again, because I'm a Tesla advocate, I prefer the dollars go towards Tesla so that Tesla can continue to improve and innovate. If now
Mm.
those dollars are being uh, you know going
Rerouted to Chinese companies.
right, and
Right.
now China, then I don't think they're going to upgrade their technology to even
Mm.
get to the same level as a Tesla.
Mm.
And one thing I have to say, and this from experience for working for a foreign company some years ago, is that it is really difficult to, when it comes to the American market, you have to understand that American use case of the technology. That has nothing to do with tariffs. That's just I'm just throwing an
Okay.
additional thought out there. But anyway,
Okay.
that's my initial thoughts. I really think that there's a safety concern, and furthermore, I prefer that the dollars go towards Tesla so that Tesla can continue to innovate.
Right. Yeah, and I think Tesla is an American-made car.
Right,
It's an American-made car. Yeah, I think. Yeah, it's obviously it provides a unfair advantage because of the Chinese government
right,
subsidizing um, the EV company, right? BYD or some others.
right.
NIO, I think, is one,
Neo,
but
yeah, yeah, Neo, yep,
NIO, yeah.
yep,
So that does provide an unfair advantage because they don't have the same. They're not up against the same. They don't have the same consequences
right,
as a company that's operating in a capitalistic environment, right? You make
right,
a bad decision, you make a bad investment, your doors may be closed,
right,
right? Or if you don't get it right in a certain amount of time, aka Rivian or Fisker, right?
right,
You don't turn a profit in a certain amount of time, you're not going to do it anymore, right? Your investors are going to say, nope, we're done,
right,
right? However, when you're subsidized by the government, you keep plugging.
right,
You keep plugging, whether you're making money or not, and it's like you got, I don't know, you got somebody behind you, right? Which provides yeah, provides an unfair advantage. On top of that, you know manipulate the currencies, all that kind of jazz, right? So it
yeah,
does it does. Now, the tariff price, like, so there's 100% tariff. The article spoke about 100% tariff, right?
right,
So it's 100% tariff. So that's basically saying if they've got a vehicle, I think BYD's got a vehicle in $11,000 range, or 11 to 15,000. So presumably those vehicles would now be 30,000,
right,
right?
right,
Um, which would make them along the same price point as an American-made EV.
right, 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 right. And again, I think at that price point, are you going to get what you have paid for? Are you going to get the value?
Yeah,
That's what we all got to think about. Are we going
yeah,
to get the value? Um, and again, I would argue that the tariffs, weren't intended to address every product. I don't think, well, at least in my mind, they shouldn't be to hit every product, right? There are some products that, again, there's a lot of stuff that we get from overseas, in this case China, that we use, in non, in everyday life, right? Cell phones and what have you, the manufacturing. But again, just my experience, I've yet to have that experience, exposure to a manufactured, or a car that's manufactured coming from China. I just don't know. Right.
Right.
I want to go. I want to go with what I know.
Yeah. But you brought up a wonderful point, is that they are going to take dollars away from the American-made company, and that in itself is an issue, because if the price point now I'm gonna reference my mother once again, because she saw the show
Right.
and was asking some very good questions. I had to stop and think. Right, so one of her questions was, when will the price drop so that she can afford it, right?
Mm.
Because not everyone can afford a $32,000 car, right? So
Right.
where would it drop to that, right? So when would it drop to, the $12,000, $15,000 range, right? The $20,000 range, right?
Right. Right.
So that was her question, and as I'm sure she's not the only one that has that, right?
Right.
So, but if you have the masses that would like a car in that price range, hence why Elon is working on getting his costs down so he can offer vehicles in that range, right? That presents a large opportunity, right? A large consumer, a lot of consumers, a large consumer base that by getting the EV price down to that, you could sell a lot of vehicles, right?
Yeah.
So, yeah,
Scalable.
yeah,
Scalable. Right. And
yeah,
you know, I think that's a great question coming from your mom, because everyone wants access to this vehicle, and that's part of the reason why we do this show, right? Because
right,
we want to bring that awareness. Everyone wants access to this vehicle, to this technology, and Tesla will be the only car manufacturer that will be able to legitimately, and I use that word legitimately because what you said before about the subsidizing by the Chinese government in this context of a vehicle that will be shipped to the U.S. from Tesla will be able to independent, and of course some people could argue, oh wait a minute, Sadat, hold on, but the Tesla that you're going to get, well, you're going to get a tax credit. Well, I don't want to tell the audience if I did or didn't, but I'm just going to make it clear the tax code does not give everyone access to that tax credit. I'll just leave it
right,
at that. So
yeah,
there's an element of subsidizing going on, but it's not 100% of the Tesla
right,
buyers that have access to it.
to it. You know what? Rabbit hole. Okay.
All right, let's go. Let's go.
All right. Should the U.S., since Tesla is the forerunner, should the U.S. provide additional subsidies for them? They're not going to come out and hand them money like the Chinese government to BYD and NIO, but with the way the EV market, with the potential behind it, should they give all of the EV folks a boost
All the EV manufacturers.
because of the threat at hand? China BYD's already trying to circumvent the tariffs by building in Hungary,
Right.
by building in Mexico, by building plants in Mexico. So now
Right.
they can say, I guess my theory is that you can obviously you can give me your comment on it.
Right.
Is it that if they build it in Mexico, it's considered Mexican, right? A Mexican product, and therefore they don't have to pay the tariffs? right,
Right.
into the U.S. If a certain percentage is, so now you don't pay
Yeah.
100%,
Right.
right?
Right. Right. Right.
So,
Right.
so they're working around it, right, to get their vehicles into the American market.
Right. Um. So to your first point, I think yes, all the EV manufacturers they should make. Well, I guess there's two things. One thing has to happen first. First is I think the EV companies do need to come up with, I think Tesla's working on like the Model 2, for example, right? They need to come up with a more economical version of their vehicles. Step one. Step two, then they should provide that tax benefit slash credit to those, for those folks,
To
or
all, to all, right?
to all,
So that's
right,
basically what you're saying, to all.
right, exactly, to all. So, and further, I would like to believe that you would have more Tesla purchasers if you didn't have this current limit. Because
Mm,
if you make above whatever the number is, I think it's 300K a year, then you
right,
have no access to that credit.
right.
And I would arguably Tesla has stunted its growth.
Mm,
How many more Teslas you would see on a vehicle if? And again, maybe once you get to that price, once you get to that salary point,
right,
it becomes, it's like, all right, 7 grand. I'd rather have the vehicle. I'm okay with having a vehicle. I'm going to get all the
right.
savings and blah blah blah. Right? Okay, fine. Um, but if you're trying to really, um, you know, manage your cost here, or you want to like, look, if I don't get tax benefit, I'm not going to buy the car. That's it.
Right.
Tesla's probably, who knows? It's probably 500. I'm making a number up. Maybe it's 200 units. I don't know. Maybe it's like 10%. They can have 10% more growth in sales if not for
Mm,
that. But of course, that's not their fault. It's not their fault. It's the government that has to enact this. It's the IRS that needs to bring that about. But I would say they should think about that.
right. And I know it's the American way to, that's not, we're capitalists, right?
Right.
But to me, the other way to do it is to get out of the way.
Mm.
Have the government get out of the way. I'm not
Okay.
talking
Okay.
about like doing things to the environment, allowing things to us to um, destroy the earth.
Right.
But some of these there's other things that the government can do to help accelerate, right?
Okay. Okay.
And to, either deregulate or just get out of the way to help push,
Right.
right? To help
Right.
push and accelerate because, um, yeah, these folks are coming, and and I go back to your point you said again, right? Folks are going to be looking at the price.
Right.
Folks are going to be looking at they're going to be price conscious. Forget the tech, forget all that. They want an EV. They're going to be price conscious. And if they pick this Chinese vehicle over this Tesla, that's
Yeah.
dollars. Like you said, that's dollars that's not going into Tesla
Right.
to
Right.
further develop it,
Right.
right?
Right. Yeah. And further to piggyback on that one is that means less jobs here in the U.S.
Mm,
And again, I know that's not the scope of our podcast here,
yeah,
right? But the reality is that it does have an impact. So it could, that could
yeah,
be less jobs here in the U.S. Again, the more you introduce foreign manufacturing, because for certain, let's be clear, for certain, the United States will not allow China to manufacture here on mainland. So
right,
there are zero job opportunities that will be coming from any Chinese manufacturer. I don't want to pick on BYD, but any
mm,
zero jobs.
yeah. We're in a tussle,
Yeah.
and we're not you know long gone is the war with bombs, right? The war with bombs and ammunition, and it's
Huh.
economic, and it's yeah,
Amongst
it,
the heavyweights for certain.
yep,
amongst the heavyweights for certain.